Hello, my name is Kelsey. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about anything I feel like talking about, mostly crochet and knitting. And today is part 2 of my yarn stash tour. And honestly, probably the more exciting part, because in today's video we will be going through all of my hand dyed or fancier yarn. If you can't tell, I am a little bit sick right now, so I will do my best to cut out any sort of coughing or sniffling that might appear in this video, but more than likely I will not be entirely successful. So, with that disclaimer being said, let's hop right into the first sort of category I've put together here today, and that is my wound skeins. So first, let's discuss what I actually have plans for. First up is this nice like mossy green color from the brand Origin. This colorway is called Dune Grass. It is 50% Argentinian merino and then 50% Highland wool. I bought this earlier this week actually because I have the intention of knitting my friend Abby a hat for her birthday in January. I haven't quite cast it on yet because I don't have the right needle size for the pattern right now. The pattern I want to use is the My Baker's Hat pattern by EM Knits. But I did ask for a knitting needle set for Christmas this year, so I don't want to go out and buy the needles until after Christmas to see if I got the needles as a Christmas present. So right now I'm holding on to this with the intention of starting this probably like Wednesday or maybe even Tuesday night, depending on how everything shakes out. I then have a couple of different skeins of DK. Gosh, these are kind of a mess. This is what happens when I wind things up versus getting them wound up at the store. They just kind of like fall apart over time. But this, here we are. So these are all from Lovejoy Fibers. They are all going to be combined together into a shawl. I bought them for the Dandelion Dance Shawl by Fiber and Fox. She has a YouTube channel. I'll link it down below because that's how I originally found the pattern for the shawl. And all of these colors are from Lovejoy Fibers. I bought them from a store called Seed and Stitch down in Bountiful, Utah. And I'll try and recall what the colors are. So these two, this one is called Lemon Nova, and then this one is Supernova, I believe. No, I lied. This is Lemon Nova. This is Funfetti. They have very similar colors of specks. There's a little bit of variation in some of them, probably more because the base of this one is a yellow. But in the shawl, she kind of has like two like variegated like speckled colors and then two like tonal colors. So those are my two variegated speckled colors. I specifically picked that pattern to use that Lemon Nova color because I almost bought it like 300 times from Seed and Stitch, but I could never think of a pattern to use it for. And then finally I saw that and I was like, I know exactly what this is. I believe this is the color Clover. I don't have the label for it. And then this pink I think is the color Coral Blaze. Then I have actually 4 of these skeins of worsted weight yarn. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I was originally planning on making my mom a sweater out of this for Christmas, but then she said something and I ended up deciding to make her a blanket instead because I just thought she would appreciate the blanket more than the sweater. and I didn't buy these originally for the sweater. I only wound them up. I originally bought these because the dyer, she's a local dyer to me, but the Backcountry Knitter is her name. She was moving studios, so she had a sale where she um, was like 50% off all of her in stock items. So this is the colorway Court of Patriarchs. And I have 4 of these that are wound up, so I got to figure out something to do with them. I have a crochet like mitten pattern that I want to design that I think I'll work on next month, but I'm also thinking I'll probably knit either myself or my mom a hat out of this because I have really been enjoying. I just be knitting hats at this point. That's just like that's my vibe right now. Then I have this random skein of like black and like variegated yarn. I bought it from Willow Hill Yarn Company. I don't have the label anymore and I don't remember what the colorway was. Part of me, the word that's coming up in my head is magpie, but that could just be me word associating based on nothing. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm not positive, but I am thinking this might be a Malabrigo merino blend, but again, I have no memory exactly. I just know, I'm just guessing based on what Emily at Willow Hill normally stocks. So that is my best guess as to what that is. I do want to go ahead and make that into something sooner rather than later, just because I started to use it for something and then it didn't work out, and now it's just kind of sitting around here, and probably will also be, guess what, a hat, because I just be knitting accessories right now, and that is my that's the mood I'm in. Next, I have there's probably I have definite like there's like definitely some like local people who are my favorites, and Lovejoy Fibers is definitely one of them. I just love her colorways. I think they're so pretty. And what's funny about this is that I bought a skein of fingering yarn when I first started crocheting last year. And this skein was from my first visit to a local yarn shop. I like Googled local yarn shops thinking that there would be none around me, and I found Willow Hill Yarn Company. So I went there and I purchased this yarn. And like originally I was like, oh, I'll crochet a hat with this, and that's not happening. But I have decided I'm going to use this to make the One Skein Wonder cowl by Fiber and Fox. But what's funny about this is that I recently signed up to take a sock knitting class at Willow Hill Yarn Company. Went there to buy some sock yarn. Saw a colorway that like I really thought was very pretty, and I was like, ooh, this is gonna be perfect socks. Bought it home, looked at the labels, and was like, shit, I already own this. In a different, like, I already bought this. So that's fun. But I digress. So, after election day, after the election, I felt like I deserved a little treat. So, I bought this very, very soft, very, very pretty yarn. Also, very, very expensive. This is probably the most I've ever spent on yarn ever. Like just like a single skein. So please don't talk to me about it. But this is 70% brushed cashmere, 30% merino. It is from Moondrake and Company. It is the colorway a Fairy Godmother, and it is the Fua Fua like base, I guess. It's this beautiful like purple color. And I bought it to go. No, I bought this originally, and I wasn't sure what I was gonna make it. I had like a half thought to crochet with something with it, and then like I started crocheting, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. So I ended up going back and buying this color. It's Moondrake. It's another Moondrake colorway. It's the colorway Water Lilies, and it is a fingering weight on their BFL High Twist base. This is a super 80% superwash blue faced Leicester, 20% nylon. Um, Also, not cheap yarn. But these guys are going together to make the Nimbus Cowl by Pearl Soho. Um, don't yeah so I'm really looking forward to it because this is just so like I was like pining after this yarn for so long, like, and it just took like the worst thing happening for me to decide to buy it. But now I'm very much looking forward to doing stuff. I'm very much looking forward to doing stuff with all of this shit, but this especially. So that's sort of the wound up category. So the next sort of category I have these separated into is things I plan and intend on making into garments. So I have some sweater quantities here. I also have like miscellaneous yarns that I intend on like putting together into the same project. So without further ado, let's start discussing. Obviously, I didn't pull out like 400 skeins of random bits of yarn to like really like to like show you all of like the skeins in the sweater quantity, but I pulled out like one or two to give you sort of an idea of the colorways we're working with. So first and foremost, let's talk about one of the yarns I'm most excited to work with, but I am waiting for the perfect project. Like I can't figure out exactly what I want to do with it. Other than that, I think I want to make it into a cardigan, and that is the Sorella yarn um, in the worsted weight base. This is 100% superwash merino, 218 yards. And this is from the Eras Tour Part 2 collection. And this is the colorway You're on Your Own Kid, which is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, but taking that with a grain of salt that like almost any Taylor Swift song I would say this is one of my favorites. It's definitely top 20. But I just saw this colorway and I thought it was so pretty, and it's such like an early end of summer, early fall color. Like it just gives the vibe of like a transition between those two time periods and between those two seasons. So now I own it, but I have not found a crochet cardigan pattern that I like, and I don't really want to knit a sweater or a cardigan. I haven't ever seen like a knit cardigan or sweater that I have liked enough to want to dedicate the time to, but I really enjoy making crochet cardigans. And I'm there's a possibility that might change in the future, that I'll like decide, you know what, I actually really want to start knitting garments. But right now knitting is very much an accessory thing for me, where I like to crochet my garment and then take a break and like knit a little bit. So these I don't have a plan for, and I'm just like waiting for like the perfect thing to come around. But eventually I think I'm just gonna have to like just like say there's never gonna be like a perfect ready-made pattern, so I'm either just gonna have to make it, or gonna have to go with a pattern that like maybe isn't exactly like what I had in mind, because I know no matter what I'm gonna enjoy like the way it comes out. So it's just a matter of like getting over the like trepidation to touch this stuff, because it was so expensive, and it's also just like so pretty. The next thing I want to talk about I got from Great Basin Fiber Arts Festival last year. I went to Great Basin's Fiber Arts Festival with sort of not a lot of plans in mind, because I didn't really know what was going to be there. But one of the vendors I definitely knew I wanted to go to was um, Candy Shop Yarns. Um, and while I was there, I saw this beautiful texture um, pack. It has two different like yarns, and then they like put them together into like a kit that you can use to make something. And I thought that this was so pretty. They call it the texture duo, and I specifically was really interested in the kid mohair that she has. It's 70 or the mohair she has. It's 72% kid mohair and 28% silk. Um, And I had at that point I had never like seen mohair. Like at that point my yarn store didn't carry it. She does now, but at that time she didn't. So I was like, I really want to try doing something with mohair, and this is the first time I've seen it in person, and like I know that this I don't think is like uncomfortable or scratchy, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy this. So I bought what they had in these two texture duos. I have two of these. I have no plans for the boucle that's included in this. It's very pretty. I just, that was the afterthought when I bought this. So then it sort of like came around to the fact that like I'm gonna have to figure out what is happening with this. So eventually I decided to pair it with this Lovejoy Fibers colorway in the color Funfetti. And I don't know how this is going to turn out. This is definitely going to be an experiment. I have the plan to make the Gracie Tabard by Holly Woodward with this. It's basically, it's kind of like what I'm wearing now, where it's like a little bit of a popover with like a tie around the waist. And I should have enough yarn for that. I might have to like, for like the border and the straps, I probably have to use a different color, which I think will look better anyway. But I'm interested to see how that like granny stitch pattern works up with like one color, and that's like a speckled colorway, and this mohair. I think it might give like an interesting color, and it might pull like pink a little bit more. I'm really interested to see how it works. And this is very much an experiment for me. Also something I got from Great Basin Fiber Arts Festival. Let's go ahead and discuss these. So the other place I knew I wanted to buy yarn for is a local dyer called Bird and Begonia. She stocks at a few shops in Salt Lake City, but it's normally only like her fingering base. And at the time, I didn't knit at all, so there was really like the idea of doing anything in fingering weight was just like diabolical, toxic. Like there was a malignant energy about it. But at Great Basin Fiber Arts Festival, she had her worsted weight thing, and this is the base is 75% superwash wool, and then it's 25% nylon. It's a 3-ply, and this is the colorway Bingley. It's really fun. It's like this pink with like white, and then like this black and like brown and like rust color speckled in. And I got two of these with the sort of vague idea that I would make like the sunburst granny squares, and then also do sunburst granny squares in other colorways, and then put them all together into the cardigan. So over time I have collected other colors to like make granny squares out of and put them together in the color into the cardigan. So this is the first one. And then I went to Pagosa, my hometown, this summer, and while we were there, we went to Mesa Verde, and then while I was at Mesa Verde, I was like, you know, we're like really close. Oh God, what's the name of the place I bought this at? We're really close. I'll put the name on the screen. And while I was there, I bought just like this black color. This is the first time I've like bought black yarn. And this is from the brand hand painted or Woolable hand painted yarn. This is 100% superwash merino. And I just think like there's definitely black speckles in this, so it'll go with it. And then I got this white color. It's from the Knitted Wit. It's another worsted. This is the color Naked, 100% merino, all of that together. And then more recently, I've been looking for a warm brown, and I cannot tell you how difficult it was for me to find warm browns that match this. And I went to this local-ish yarn store to me. It's in Provo, Utah. And I brought this with me with the hope that I would find something. And I did find two browns that I think go with it, are like pretty good matches. They are both from Cascade Yarn. They're both the 220 Superwash Merino. This one is the colorway 60. And then this one is 76. I have two of these, and then I'm not actually sure if this is going to get used to this. This I bought from Seed It Stitch at one point, and it doesn't super match, but I think with all the other colors it'll kind of merge in. This is the colorway Irish Cream, and it's just another Cascade yarn. But that being said, all of those sunburst cardigan pattern thingy. So now we're going to talk about me losing my fucking mind. Now we're going to talk about me going fucking crazy. So one thing that I have found this year is that I'm very susceptible to collections from indie yarn dyers that are based around music I really enjoy. As we've already seen with the Sorella Taylor Swift collection, the first one I fell prey to is the Superglow Fibers Chapel Roan collection, and I love Chapel Roan. I proudly am a hipster about Chapel Roan. I saw her open for Declan McKenna in Salt Lake City in 2018, before any of her gay songs came out. It was back when it was just her EP, and I was on Chapel Roan all these years later, and I have a signed CD from her because I went to her concert before she popped off, because I'm a real fan. So when I saw the Red Wine Supernova colorway be announced from Superglow Fibers, I'm like, I need it. But the problem was that as more and more of the colorways got announced, I needed more and more of them. So I had to decide eventually which one I was actually going to get a sweater quantity of. And one I ended up deciding on for my sweater quantity is this purple, variegated with the neon yellow, neon pink, neon orange speckles in it. And this is the Good Luck Babe colorway on the Glowsy DK. 246 yards, 100% superwash merino. And I bought this colorway because at the time I'd made a bunch of pink stuff. And since then, I've actually expanded my horizons a lot more. So now most of my stuff I've made is no longer pink. It's actually different colors. So that was kind of the main decision-making reason behind doing this colorway. And I like this colorway, but I was trying to expand my horizons, so I went with this one instead of some of the other ones I really like. And I don't regret it. I still really enjoy this colorway, and it's another one of those where I'm scared to use it because I'm waiting for the perfect project. But I've kind of narrowed it down to either two sweaters. This is either going to be another version of the Breton sweater that I'm currently pattern testing for right now, or it will be from this book, Modern Crochet Sweaters by Janine Miska from Knits and Knots. She has the color, the front sweater is the Emerald Valley sweater, and I might make that out of this. I haven't fully decided yet. So this is what I decided on. I decided to buy this colorway as my sweater quantity, and then I bought all of the minis for the original collection. And I didn't really know what I was going to do with the minis, but this was my compromise, is that I buy that sweater quantity and then I'd have the minis for all the other colorways. And then I lost my fucking mind. Now, she did a last chance sell on the leftovers. So the other two colorways that I really, really liked were the Red Wine Superway color, and then also the colorway for California. And then so what I ended up doing is that I bought what was left over in the DK size for California. So both the Glowsy DK and the Boucle Bliss. And I have two of these, so four total, two of each like base. And then I also bought the red wine supernova boucle colorway because that's what was left out of that. And I bought them and I was like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do with them, but I really, really, really like these colorways and I want them. And then, and then she did a restock of her chaperone yarns, and I decided that these four were not going to be enough for a garment, so I was going to buy more. So I bought a total of 8 more skeins, and what I've decided that they're going to be is that they're going to be granny squares, because obviously they're from different lots and they're different bases and they're from different colorways. But I really like the idea of doing a like monochrome-ish sweater, but just playing with the texture. So I'm going to do like solid granny squares, but I'm going to split them in half so that one side is this plain like non-textured yarn, and then the other side is the boucle. And then I'm going to play with the squares to make sort of a quilt motif. I can't remember the name of the knit designer, but there's like a pillow that's very popular right now that has sort of a quilt motif put onto like a knitted pillow. I will put a picture and the designer name up on the screen, because that is definitely where I'm basing my inspiration off of. But I want to make a vest like that, playing with like monochrome and texture differences. So that's this that's the super that's our super glue fibers stuff. Our next category is some like single skeins or accessory yarns, like things I plan on using for accessories, that I've got. Just real quick, I won like a drawing from a local yarn store here called Knitting Hive, and I won like this set of like Barocco light. These are 100% wool, and I think the intention is that these are like the color work colors, and then you like buy however much you're gonna need of like your base color, and then you work it together into like one like project. And they have patterns. I haven't really looked into it a whole lot, but this is the colorway I picked. I had a choice between this one and another one, and I really liked just the purple and the pinks and just the tones of this one, so that's what I ended up getting. Recently I went to a Christmas market and there was a knitter there. I bought a hat from her, but she was also selling some of her yarns, so I got 2 of her yarns. Technically these are the same colorway, but I definitely think these are different dye lots, because obviously one of them is significantly more purple than the other. But at the time I bought them, I hadn't really committed to my knitting hat era, so I bought 2 just in case I wouldn't have enough with just one, to like give myself more margin of error. This is the colorway OOAK. It's a DK weight. It's 246 yards, superwash merino. The dyer's name is Stitch Hiker Designs. So check her out. I really, really enjoy the hat she made. That I wear it all the time, and I am excited to use her yarn. We have more super glue fibers here, but it's not the Chaperone collection, surprisingly. She did a Halloween release. She's obviously one of my favorite indie dyers. I just like the like brightness of her colorways, evidenced by the fact that I have so much of her yarn here today. But she did a Brat themed Halloween release called Spooky Brat. And I really enjoyed the colors of that. So I got 2 of the like collection color. It's on like this confetti DK. It's like this tweed with like this fun like neon tweed colors. And then it has just like so many different varieties of tones, just like blue, pink, green, orange. It's so pretty, and I'm so excited to use it. I was gonna crochet a hat. I don't know if I'm still gonna crochet a hat or if I'm gonna knit a hat with one and then like knit like a little scarf with the other, because I'll have like if I knit it, I'll have like it'll take less yarn, so I can do more with just the 2 I have. But I really love it. And then I also bought the Boucle Bliss version of the Ghoul So Confusing color. And I love this. Like, it's just such a vibrant blue. I love it so much. I'm planning on using it to make another Heartstopper scarf. I'm going to do it all in solid. And I just think this is also an experiment I'm doing with crochet and like texture, because there's not really any good like crochet boucle like reference images for me to find. So I am planning on doing a scarf out of this, because I think it'll just be so cute, like so pretty. Um, and like I I want to do all of this so bad. I just don't know how to make enough time, because obviously once summer comes, it's going to like upset every plan I could possibly have. Uh, so like I have these yarns, and I know exactly what I want to make with a lot of them, but I don't know when I'm gonna be able to do it. Um, and isn't that the dilemma of the our generation? So then I have this skein from Black Sheep Yarn. I get their Instagram ads all the time, and to be honest, I kind of assumed that they were probably pretty scammy since I got so many of their Instagram ads. But I finally decided to check them out, and they actually looked legit. So I ended up buying like a colorway for one that I was really enjoying on their website. It's the Butterfly PT colorway. This is their worsted weight, and I bought it to, when you subscribe to their newsletter, they give you a free pattern from, what's her name? Not Bad Brit. It's called the Aishi Cowl. They don't have like a pattern page on Ravelry, but I will link her like um, user profile. And she uses one skein of worsted weight yarn for that cowl. So I have one skein of worsted yarn for the cowl I plan on making. Then I have a random skein of pink yarn from Yarnosaurus Fiber. It's a DK, super 85% superwash merino, 50% nylon. I didn't know this had nylon in it, so it might actually be a good like DK sock yarn at some point if the urge strikes me. Um, Maybe is there a pattern here? Like, is there one of my like? Could I do like a? I don't like. I could maybe pair like this solid color with some of like the pinky tones of the pink tones on my like that came in my minis, and just do like a cuff that's like the minis from the Chaperone collection, and then use this as the base. Anyway, that's that'll we can talk about. I'll think about that more later. Um, and I think that's it though for accessories as a general category. Now to get more specific, let's talk about socks, because I have gone buck wild. Um, I have not even finished my first sock knitting class, but I've already decided that I love knitting socks. Like I started knitting the cuff of my sock, um, finished it, and now I'm just like waiting, like chomping at the bit to like go to my sock class so she can teach me how to turn a heel, and then I can just like be free to go. So I am waiting on that, but in the meantime, I lost my fucking mind. So let's talk about some of the sock yarns I bought. First up, I didn't actually buy these with the intention of making socks out of them, but I don't actually know what I want to make out of them, because they kind of like, and this is not shade to the dyer. I enjoy this dyer. I subscribe to her newsletter. I'll definitely buy from her again in the future. She does a lot of good like charity work, like where you buy something and part of your purchases go to the thing. It looked a little different to me on the website than it did in real life. So I bought these sock skeins in the colorway Afterglow. These are 50% baby alpaca, 25% silk, 25% linen. This is a fingering weight yarn, and this was a specialty colorway for like a festival that she did. And like I like the color. It's just not quite what I thought it was. I thought it would be a little bit wider with like a little bit like more of a sheen that isn't necessarily present in like the physical skeins. So I'm not positive what's going to happen with these. Maybe a sock at one point, at least with one of them. But I'll keep you posted and we can discuss more later. If you guys have a good idea of what I should do with this knitted accessory or crochet accessory, let me know because I'm thinking about it. So I've also got a Sorella yarn sock set. When she did like the vintage flannel thing, I really enjoyed that colorway, and I think next year for Christmas, I think these will just make a really nice Christmas sock. So that's what I got it for. I got it with the intention of making this next December, and this is a mini set. They obviously the base is vintage flannel, but I can't remember what the red one is called. So if I can find that, I will put it on the screen. And then it's a 80-20 blend with between wool and nylon. Earlier this week, I went to my local yarn store that I go to knit night at every week, and Ritual Dyes had dyed like a color specifically for the store, like a house color, and this is that. It is the handwork colorway. It's a 90-10 blend of superwash merino and nylon, 400 yards, very pretty. Definitely, like, I'm probably going to make a sock that I'll like wear inside more than anything, because I don't trust a 2-ply 90-10 base to like really hold up, just based on everything I've heard and not my own personal experience, because obviously I'm a very new sock knitter, haven't even finished one pair, so I could have lost my mind for no reason. But I do have a good sense for like things that I will actually continue enjoying. Like crochet is one of those things that I like have actually continued enjoying, and knitting is also one of those. So like as I'm working on the socks, I'm really enjoying that process of like doing the ribbing and doing all of like the cuffs and shit. And I do think that's going to be something that sticks around. Um, so, um, I ordered, also close to election time, I ordered this yarn from Dymad Yarns. I think it's based out of Ohio. I'm not seeing it on the label. Oh, it is hand dyed in Ohio. This is one of their Over the Garden Walls colorway. Over the Garden Wall colorways. It's the colorway You Have Beautiful Eyes. It's a 75% merino, 25% nylon base. Very cute, very pretty. And I just got a mini from a local dyer here from Yarnosaurus Fibers. It's the same blend of fibers. It's just a very basic white for the like toe and the heel of this one. And then the same dyer, Yarnosaurus Fibers, was having like a studio sale for Christmas. So I ordered 2 sock skeins. And I have a couple of aspirations for these. So the first one is this like set that she did. I think the set is actually for like a specific colorwork sock pattern that you can find. I think it's like the Llama Drama socks or the Drama Llama socks, because that's what is on the label. But I don't. I when I got it, I opened it on camera, and I just don't particularly care about llamas as an animal enough to like knit a colorwork sock about it, especially since I have not knit anything colorwork yet, and definitely it'll be a second before I start knitting the socks that way. But I do think I do want to do the striped socks for like the striped socks that are in the sock project book by Summer Lee. Summer Lee is who wrote the sock pattern that we're using in my knitting class, and I really like it. And I obviously already own the book, so I think the striped socks would be fun. And I also got this really fun like chartreuse neon green colorway. Again, this one's 85% merino, 15% nylon. And this sock grouping is the same way. But I thought this one might be fun to do as like a solid sock once I've like done a couple socks and I'm feeling a little bit more confident and want to sort of shift to something a little bit more what's the word, difficult, a little bit more like challenging. So I have a couple of sock patterns that have like a cable element to them that I have sort of been looking at that are in the sock project book. So the first one is the Surf Wax Socks by Summerleaf. And then the other like cable pattern sock is the Luna Socks by Summerlee. I think both of them, those could look really good in this. And then the third, even crazier option that I don't think I will actually end up doing, but is something I'm gonna toy with here, and you guys can let me know what you think. But it's the Camilla Socks by Summerlee, and those are more of a lace project. And I don't know. The thing with knitting is that like I have a really difficult time understanding like what is difficult in knitting, like versus crochet. It's kind of easy for me to tell, like just looking at something, how hard it's gonna be, um just like, or how tedious it's gonna be. But either I haven't developed that skill with knitting, or there's just so many different techniques that I'm not really positive, and I don't have enough like of a knowledge base to be able to be like, oh, lace knitting I probably won't be at that point, but whatever. So this is, I think, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about today. Okay, one thing I forgot to talk about is I have this bag of semi cotton that I haven't really put away, that I kind of keep forgetting to put away. But I really enjoy Sammy Cotton. It's from Amano Yarns. It's 100% premium organic cotton made in Peru. Um, and so Willow Hill stopped stocking it recently. So I kind of bought up what they had on clearance as they were trying to get it off their shelves, because I enjoyed working on it for my Jolene top. I'll put an image of that on the screen. But I ended up getting this nice purple color. I bought what they had of this purple color, and then I also bought what they had of this white color. Sorry, no, I didn't buy all of this white color. I bought 2 of this white color just in case I needed something to sort of mix in with it. But I've kind of decided I'm going to make a tank top out of this in the summer. This is the one summer knit I have planned. The rest are like winter accessories. Not even that I'm going to knit this. I'm going to crochet a tank top out of this. But that's like the one thing I have planned for the summer. And then everything else is just like winter shit that I'm going to have to like, that I'm not going to be able to do before it gets hot. And that's what is a bummer. That's what's sad. This is what's tragic. There's never enough time. With that all being said, thank you for sticking around and watching this with me. I really enjoyed this part of the video, and I really appreciate you spending your time with me. So if you want to spend more time with me, please give me a subscription for Christmas. Please, I'm begging you. Give me a subscription, and also maybe like, and just like let me know anything in the comments down below. just tell me what's going on, and I will talk to you all sometime here in the future. Hopefully I will do my best to do so. But thank you all. Have a great holiday season, or if it's past Christmas by the time you're seeing this, have a great year. Whatever year that may be.